Hi, this is Miss West, and I wanted to share with you some tips for navigation settings in your Canvas course. Um, some of the issues with students accessing material really comes down to course navigation and you as the teacher making sure that it's very clear where to go to access material, as well as making sure the material is linked properly. So the first step that I want to make sure that you understand is how to use student view. So student view is from the home page of a course on the right-hand side. There's a student view icon, and I like to use this just to double check what does it look like for my students when they log in. Is the video going to be uploaded? Is the document, is the link going to work? Like if I click on that enter here, does it actually take me to the page? If I click on modules, what does modules look like for my students? Is it organized or is it just a bunch of random like list of pages, for example? Okay, so use that student view just to double check and maybe even use a student view during your live lesson so that you're showing the students what they should be seeing. Sometimes the teacher view gets a little bit more busy, which is confusing for students. So I'm going to go back home. Another thing about navigation that I think helps students is to have announcements at the top of your page. So this is a setting that I have it so that the three most recent announcements post up at the top. So I like that because then that eliminates an extra click. They see, oh, this is the announcement for the day of my lesson topics, my link to the Zoom, and any other important information. Another and probably the most obvious course navigation is the navigation menu over here on the left-hand side. So you can see that I do have announcements, modules, assignments. These are all things within the course. So they're active. Students could click on it and go to the quizzes, for example. Conferences, collaborations, those are things that I have not used or set up. So they have an I with the cross out. So they're not used at all. So they are not visible for students. But you heard me say, like sometimes clicking on pages and you get that long list of pages, maybe you don't want students to even see that as an option to click on. So, how you're going to change that is by going to your course settings. So, settings at the bottom of this menu on the left hand side, and click there. And then at the top, there's a navigation tab. Here's where you can drag and drop different navigations. So you drag the items below to hide them from students. So I don't want students to see pages because I have all my coursework set up in modules. So they don't need to select individual pages. And maybe I don't even want them to see the quizzes option because they're going to be assigned a quiz through the module. Once I've moved all of the items out that I know that the students don't need, like I know the students don't need files, I'm going to come down and hit save. That way my menu is saved. You can see now that files, pages, and quizzes all have that I crossed out, so it's not visible to students. Now, I told you that I had it set up for the announcements. That is actually under course details. And I'm going to scroll all the way down and click on more options. And then it says there's an option to show recent announcements. So you can set the number of announcements that you want to show on the home page. Um, I wouldn't make it more than three just because it'll get too busy. All right. The last thing that I want to show you about making sure that links work, you can obviously use Student View to make sure links work, but there's also a tool within your Canvas page on the course settings that's called Validate Links in Content. If I click on that link, it's going to run a code. It's going to say run validate links. It's going to run a code and it's going to populate any issues with links. So all of these are issues. It says that it is non-existent. So on this page, this link will not work. So I can click on those pages and click on those links to fix them, just to make sure that when students click on it, it actually goes to the right link. So if you have questions, let me know.